Alrighty, so this is Matt and Bill sitting here. Say hi, Bill.
What's up, people?
What's up, people? We're gonna go through a list of all these songs on this compilation that we did over the years, and give you guys a little insight as to what was going on and when it happened and how it was happening and what happened.
Yeah, this is Crawl. This is off the first EP. It's one of the first songs I learned.
Yeah.
It actually got recorded before I was in the band.
Yeah, I think you did. I think it was still being recorded when we met because I think I tracked.
Yeah,
the bass.
I snuck right on the credits on that one.
Yeah, but you actually weren't on the album, the first album. So it was on our first CD. It was called The Anatomy of Being, and it was released just by us. But the vocalist was Mark Schvima Jr., and then Doug Rush was a guitar player.
Yep.
John Sasso was a drummer.
Johnny Sass.
And me, I played guitar then and background vocals, and then you came in and played all these songs live.
Yep. I remember rehearsing at the original practice place, playing this song. Remember the guy who lived there, John, he loved this song.
Yeah, Crawl was his favorite song, yeah. So yeah, it was recorded in Graphic Sound, I think it was called, in Ringgold, New Jersey with Greg Fry. And he mixed it, mastered it, did everything there. So that was basically that, you know. And I think Brett Worley did the cover, right?
Yep.
And so this is just remastered. This wasn't remixed or anything on this version. I don't have the original files, so I just remastered it, and here you go, and it's in its entirety on the album. So let's
enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's a cool song. I like it. I think it's the best song, one of the best songs on that. It's one of the closest.
It's in the top 3.
Yeah, it's one of the closest to what we ended up sounding like later on. You know, it had a more aggressive vibe than some of the other ones on that album.
Yeah, closed it out nice and heavy.
Yeah, so that's that. Let's Crawl. Alright, so Abduction. We got a story about this recording, don't we? This was the fist fight weekend.
Yeah. This is the. We'll start things off. This is the second era of Single Bullet Theory. New vocalist Dave Brown. We recorded this one out in El Paso. Our buddy Ed Razor, Pissing Razors.
Yeah, but remember the night before, or 2 nights before?
Oh, this was a wild weekend. I'll tell you that.
We got in a bar fight in Oklahoma City. The weekend we were on tour. We were in Oklahoma City, and we were going to Dallas the next night, and then El Paso. And we got in a brawl, a fucking brawl that could be one for the record books with like 15 people
in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, it was a mess.
There was like 10 cop cars showed up. I mean, pool sticks and stools getting thrown around. People stuck under pool tables.
Do you remember I had broken a rib or something? Remember my side?
You had the worst black and blue I've ever seen in my life coming out of that. And this girl started it.
Oh yeah, bad.
And she runs up to her boyfriend, who's in the band playing before us, talking about how we said some crap to her or whatever. The night goes by, and it turns out that she presses charges against her boyfriend.
After we beat him up. Yeah, it was a mess. It was a disaster. But long story short, I remember this was a real exciting era of the band because we were getting heavier, and Dave's vocal approach is a lot more extreme than Mark's. Not that one is better than the other, but I was incorporated more to do a lot more, like, I guess you'd say, aggressive or death metal vocals. And after this was recorded, a lot of great shit happened from this demo.
Yeah,
we got the Soul
tour, big tour.
Yeah, our first Soul tour, and then we got our deal. Our deal came from that, you know. So, yeah, this was recorded at Crank Studios. I think it's still called Crank Studios in El Paso, Texas. And Eddie Razor, the drummer, Pissing Razors, who I later was in a band with, from this whole thing. And yeah, it was. I think it's a cool song, Abduction. And I think it's a killer track.
It's a great song.
Yeah, I was thinking about redoing it again under the new lineup of the band.
All right, go for it.
We should, yeah, because it's got a killer groove, you know. But I know we did it on Route 666, but I don't think we did it justice really. It didn't come out as good on the album as it did on the demo, I think. You know?
Yeah, there's pros and cons.
Yeah. Long story short, Abduction. This is it. This was the era of Dave Brown, and this was the about a year worth of our lives in the band. That
every step was productive.
Yeah, definitely. So that's Abduction. All right, this is The Hurt That Never Ends, but it's the version off of the Snug Fit Studios era. That was
yeah, this is an unreleased song.
This is probably 2003,
this version, anyway.
Right? Yeah, 2003.
Yeah, we were done Route 666. Did we come off the King Diamond tour at this point, or?
Yeah, because what happened, the reason we did this was because Johnny was quitting. and Matt Thompson was going to come track the drums for Behind Eyes of Hatred, but we wanted to give him 3 versions of the songs.
Okay, right.
So remember, we went and blew out the studio session of this just to have something to work with. So this was like, what do you have to say about this one?
I don't know. Again, just building up, moving forward from Route 666 into the next era of single bullet theory. Getting a little stronger, a little tighter at this point. We have a couple tours under our belt, and we're really looking to get more material out and push forward at this point.
Yeah, this was like literally a few weeks after we came home from the King Diamond tour.
Yeah, we didn't want any lag. We wanted to go right into it and put some product out.
Yeah, what had happened was Johnny Sasso, our drummer at the time, told us. I remember he told us when we were at that sushi place in Ybor City in Florida that he was going to quit when we got home. So I asked Matt Thompson, the drummer at King Diamond, if he would play drums. He said sure. So it was like, well, all right. I mean, that's not exactly a bad thing to have him on it. That's why the drums on Behind Eyes of Hatred were so fucking insane.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the key thing, making sure you have a drummer that's ready to go. Everything stems off the drumming, so that's where we were at this point.
This song was always cool live. This song,
I remember a lot of people would say it's their favorite.
Yeah.
It has a couple different elements to it, some breakdowns, and I guess it's really catchy. Yeah.
Well, the chorus came out pretty good, and then when we redid it again, on Behind Eyes of Hatred, the production on it was a lot stronger. So I mean, this is kind of sketchy. I mean, this stuff was, one day in the studio or something,
Yeah.
But it was this part of the chorus here which everyone liked.
Yep, this is it.
So yeah, so that's Hurt That Never Ends, and it was John Sasso played drums on it. Doug Rush was in the band, but I don't think he played on any of these songs really.
He would eventually leave after this, and shortly after this as well.
Yeah, while we were recording while we started recording Behind Eyes of Hatred, he quit during that.
Yep.
But it wasn't a matter, in Doug's case, I love Doug. I think he was a great guy, but I think he knew that the band was traveling in a direction that he couldn't keep up with anymore,
Absolutely.
And
I think he was not liking it as it was growing, whereas I think me and you were liking it better as it grew.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was happier with the way it was going, and I was also happier with the momentum we were getting. I think Doug was getting intimidated by the whole thing, musically, and I mean, he was trying to look. He was looking to change his whole lifestyle, which he did.
That was the toughest lineup change to have. I remember a lot of tears that night.
Okay, so this track is Retribution, which was this is a fucking
another one done at Snug Fit. This was probably our heaviest and fastest song at the time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. I don't think we had written anything that was like thrash oriented yet.
This one, a lot of people were saying that this one was a favorite too. Just I guess because the speed,
Yeah,
people like the speed.
I remember live, like, thinking to myself, like, are we going to be able to pull this off every night at first? Because, like, my voice was always, this chorus was a nightmare to sing, especially coming out of that verse.
It's a push vocally, for sure.
But
no, we did it.
Yeah, it was. And we did it on the King Diamond tour. We did it on. I mean, I don't think Carlos era ever learned it though. I don't think he ever learned a song.
No, we didn't. We didn't do it then. Yeah, this was the Diamond tour, and then I think it kind of faded out of the lineup.
Yeah, so Retribution was cool. I think that it came out great on this. I think it came out good on the on Behind Eyes of Hatred, and I'm happy this was in the arsenal. This is Hollowed Out.
Hollowed Out, another one that starts out really fast, gets kind of groovy. Ends up becoming our second video.
Yeah, that was right. We shot a video for it in that asbestos fucking factory.
Yep. That
was awful.
Yeah, that video was shot with Carlos Alvarez and Jay Horvath in the band. This is, again, the new lineup. Ended up doing the Amorphous tour with them.
This version of the song is off the Snugfit demos, and but it did reappear on the Behind Eyes of Hatred record, and like Billy said here, we had Jay Horvath playing drums for us live, and Carlos Alvarez played guitar for us, and we did the Amorphous tour with them, and a handful of local shows. This song has somehow managed to kind of always stay in the live lineup. I mean, we until recently we've been doing it, since then. I mean, I think it's a great song.
No, yeah, live it generates a lot of excitement.
Yeah,
usually get a pit going on this song. People are love the beginning and the end. We got that fast, crazy part in the beginning and the end.
When we did the actual album, obviously Matt Thompson played drums on it from King Diamond, and it was just me in the studio playing guitar and Billy playing bass here, and I did all the vocals. And James Murphy produced and mixed and mastered the real version, but this is the version from Snugfit. And Snugfit, the guy who owns Snugfit, I haven't given credit to him yet, is John Loveridge. And this is all, the last 3 songs you heard, Retribution, The Hurt That Never Ends, and this were all recorded on 16-track reel-to-reel, which is neat. That's kind of cool. Like, yeah, it's like a fucking relic.
Yep. It's amazing you're able to do something with it. So here you go, the original hollowed out.
Alrighty, Leave My Faith. You remember this oldie but a sort of goodie?
Yeah, Leave My Faith. This one was going to be on Broken Wings. We recorded this one at Jason Dunkerley's studio.
I think it was called Angry Chair at the time, wasn't it? It wasn't Drowning Fish yet.
The studio, right.
Yeah, it was called Angry Chair, and then he changed it to Drowning Fish, but that's Jason Dunkerley playing drums, too.
So this one would have been on Broken Wings. I can't remember exactly why we decided not to go with it. I think maybe...
It was my vocals in the bridge here, right here. Yeah, I would not... Problem with it was, we sang... I sang 2 songs in the studio one night, and I had like the fucking flu. And I just think my vocal performance on this was a little lackluster in spots, and...
Yeah, I mean, if we could have redone it, if we would have had time and redone that, but we were already in mixing stage by then, and it just wasn't going to happen.
We used to call it, before it was named, we called it the Megadeth song.
Yeah,
because
true.
It had that, like, Rust in Peace kind of riff right there. Yeah. I mean, I think we played it live a couple times, too, and I like the middle of it because where it breaks down and it's just you by yourself, that bass line.
Right.
And it goes, like, into that really clean guitar part. I mean... you know, as it turns out, the guitar part is like the same as Warren's Uncle Tom's Cabin. I didn't know that then, but whatever, you know. It's kind of strange, but
you find that in a lot of people's songs.
Yeah, but yeah. So it was recorded at Angry Chair, which, like I said earlier, became Drowning Fish, and Jason Dunkerley was the engineer and he played drums on it. He was in our band, kind of, at the time, right?
Yeah, there was a weird period at this point.
Yeah, this was a weird period of the band. Dan was our guitar player. Dan Lockery was the other guitar player.
Yep.
And
so this was after the Amorphous tour, and it was kind of just a real up and down point in time in Single Bullet Theory history.
Well, I remember we rushed making this stupid album because A, the label was giving a shit about the release date, but B, we were supposed to jump on that stupid Primer 55 tour.
Right.
And we rushed making the album to do that tour, and then we told the guys from Primer 55 to go fuck themselves like a week before that tour and didn't go, remember?
Yep. Live, this song was probably played, a handful of times?
All the tracks from this album were sent down to Eddie Razor again. We figured to go back to Eddie and have him mix the album. So he mixed this whole record, and then we had James Murphy master this record, but I don't think James Murphy mastered this song because he only mastered the real album. Okay, we've moved up a few years. No, about a year, right?
Yeah.
About a year.
Year and some lineup changes.
Well, there was a serious lineup change. It was just me, you, and Johnny.
Yeah.
It was really weird because this was when Johnny came back to the band, and we were going to start a whole new band.
Yep, this was one of the songs out for this EP where we were pretty much going to go in a different direction band-wise, because essentially Single Bullet Theory kind of came to an end. We came off the Amorphous tour, couldn't really get product out, we didn't have anything written. Carlos had left the band, Jay had left the band, and me and Matt were deciding what are we going to do.
Yeah. And I remember we toured the idea of having a girl vocalist. Remember we were going to have Daisha sing.
Right.
And she came down from Connecticut a bunch.
Archaic was going to be the
name
of the
Archaic.
band.
And then for whatever reason, Johnny agreed to come back and play. And I mean, out of this session came a lot of really cool songs. Though. I mean, this Diesel and Dust.
This is when you bought the riff tracker. I got riff tracker too for a computer, and some of the writing started coming back because you had a little bit of a writer's block for a period of time there. And
well, I had the riff tracker for On Broken Wings too, but I had gotten a lot better at using it.
Yeah. You had a lot more abilities.
Yeah, because a lot of these songs, Edge of Broken, Diesel and Dust, Touching Ground, all these songs were actually written right around the same time of On Broken Wings, but they were shelved. Like, I mean, because remember I had like 128 songs written?
Right.
And I mean, we were able to use a ton of that stuff over the next, the following years. But yeah, this. So basically, what happened with this then was after that project failed and we couldn't get that going, Bill quit completely, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm not going to do anything anymore with music for a while." I basically had decided to be done, and then. About a year and a half or 2 years went by, and I said I got the itch really bad to start recording again, and I went down to I had a conversation with John Rusin, who was in Carfax Abbey, and we were kidding around about him and I should put a project together. So I said, hey man, I'm not kidding really. If you want to do a project, I'd be into doing it, but I think I just want to do a studio project. So he said, well, come on down. I have a studio at my house, and we'll start fucking around. So I took these tracks. I took. There was no vocals on any of these tracks, and they weren't mixed. There was no leads, but the actual raw organic tracks sounded great. Like Billy's bass sound was great, the drum sound was good, the guitar sound was great. So I took these tracks down to John's, and we started working on these tracks. And I remember I tracked vocals to Diesel and Dust and Edge of Broken, and we were both like, hey, wow. And it kind of was like the rekindling of putting Single Bullet Theory back together, which led to us doing the 4 record, the last Single Bullet Theory album that came out. So,
yeah, well, I'm glad this song and Edge of Broken and some other songs are actually starting to see the light of day, because this one was probably my favorite song at the time when
it's because you got after yourself.
Before I left. We played this live, and this was just this really exciting song, and I'm glad it didn't completely die.
Yeah, so that's Diesel and Dust, and this was Johnny Sasso on drums, me on guitar, and it was recorded at Signal Sound Studios in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, with Pete Davis, and then later on, the rest of it was done by John Rusin, and alrighty, Edge of Broken, man, this is the jam. What do you?
This is another one tied to the Diesel and Dust era.
Yeah.
I think there was like three songs that we do.
We did 5. We did 5. But this song is actually weird because it features all kinds of different people. It's got Pat Brose playing the leads in it, and it was mixed originally and mastered and worked on by John Rusin, and then it's got like about a 6-year period of different members.
It's a big development.
Yeah. So this to me I think is the best written, one of the best written Single Bullet Theory songs that still holds up to this day as being one of the best ones we've written. I mean, musically it came together quickly. Johnny was in the pocket like a motherfucker on this song. I mean, it was good because when he came back, he was more inspired, and this was more his speed. Like he liked doing like this more kind of mid-tempo progressive metal kind of vibe thing. It was his thing,
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah. So this song in Diesel and Dust, which was we just played, both have a kind of a unique feel to them, and I think the songwriting, like I said, is the best we did at the time.
There's a couple new ones that are going to be coming out on the next record that are really, really catchy too. But for what it is, this one's up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, everything came out good in this song, and then live, this song kills it. We still play it all the time now, and it's one of my favorite ones to play live, and it's really that. This also was recorded at Signal Sound. I keep saying Graphic Sound. I'm giving him a lot of credit. Yeah, up at Signal Sound, and again, John Rusin did a lot of production on it. I think Carlos Alvarez did some production on this. I think some drum editing and stuff, and then I mixed it and mastered it here at my place, and that's that. So, do you have Edge of Broken now? That's Edge of Broken, right? You have anything to add?
No. Keep going.
Okay, keep going. We're moving on. Moving through this. Alrighty, Touching Ground. This is probably the strangest song we have.
That's one of the most mellow. I mean, it kind of picks up in the middle, but yeah, this is one that Daisha had sang for us. We did which 3 songs did we do with her? Because we said there was 5 in this recording session.
We never actually. She just recorded vocals like she just like that quick demo session thing.
Right.
But she was into singing this song. I know I forget what it was called when she sang it. But yeah, this is this song is probably the most. It's a very commercial kind of vibe for us. I mean, except these metal church vocals here.
Yeah, well, with you recording vocals over it, you would Single Bullet Theory had picked up at that point, but originally we were moving in a different direction, and that's why it was kind of laid back, and we were going with the female vocalist thing and all that. But that never panned out, so now it's a Single Bullet Theory song.
I actually like this song. I mean, I was on the fence with it for years, but now I listen, I'm like, yeah, I kind of think it's a cool song. I mean, the chorus I like a lot, and I think it's a cool song. I mean, John Rusin put a killer solo in the middle of it. I mean, it's another song that's got a whole combination of people that span across about 5 years.
Yeah, but that's good, when you have songs like this that are were recorded to some degree at one point in time, nothing really happened. You start piecing things together and you come out with a good product.
Yeah. So again, this was Signal Sound Studios. Pete Davis recorded it. John Sasso played drums, Billy played bass, I played all the guitars, I sang everything on it, and I mixed and mastered it for this recording that you're hearing. So that's it, that's Touching Ground, and it's finally seeing the light of day in some capacity here.
Enjoy.
Alright, Detonate. This is it. This is Detonate. I think this song is cool as shit. This was a whole different vibe for us too, man.
Yeah, this was an exciting song. Kind of that Diesel and Dust, Edge of Broken era.
Yeah.
But no, this one's solid throughout.
This kind of has like a Stuck Mojo kind of feel to it musically,
That's good.
Yeah. Just kind of like a driving pulse the entire time. And
good way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I did the vocals at Rusin's years later, and it's kind of, the chorus is kind of strange. I tried something new in the chorus, but I was trying to do like more of like a Halford kind of vocal here and there. Everything at this point was like aggressive vocals. But another song I think it's got Rusin playing lead guitar on it, and then UI and Johnny on the core of the music. And then I left this one really raw. I didn't do much to this really. The drums were never edited on this song, so what you're hearing is actually exactly from the studio files. So I just mixed it as best I could for what we were working with. I didn't feel like making it sound like produced and processed, So Detonate's pretty cool. We never did it live ever, and it never became anything really. I mean, it doesn't really fit the vibe now, but yes, this chorus was neat. But yeah, I like this song. I can live with this song.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So that's Detonate. Alrighty, Auctioneer of Souls. This is a remixed, re-recorded version of Auctioneer of Souls. This song originally came out on our 4 album, which came out in 2011 on Goomba Music. And unfortunately, Billy, you were not on it, but you know the song.
Yep.
And what it is, it's a combination of 13 guest guitar players and us just shredding our faces off on it. I mean, it's just a shred fest.
Yeah, it's a shred fest.
Yeah.
I mean, for all you guitar lovers, I mean, this is the song for you, man.
Yeah, this song took a long time. John Rusin and myself, it was a nightmare to get this all together and make it a song, because I had reached out to all of our friends that I had met over the years that are like guitar guys that are amazing, and I asked them all to be part of it, and every one of them said yeah, which was great, and I was able to find spots all through the song for everybody, and the running order, I'm trying to remember exactly the running order, how it worked out. The first solo is Harry Lannon from Single Bullet Theory. It was originally John Rusin, and we pulled that one out and put Harry Lannon on it for this version. The second one is Attila Voris from Nevermore and Leander. The third one is Pat Brose, who was in Single Bullet Theory for a little while, and he just stepped down to do his own project. He replaced my original solo. Next up was James Murphy at the 2-minute mark. After that was Tim Roth from Into Eternity. Jeff Loomis from Nevermore comes on at 3:39. After Jeff Loomis is Curran Murphy. He was in Nevermore, Annihilator, and Shatter Messiah. At the 4:39 mark is John Perez from Solitude Aeternus. At the 5-minute mark is a very dear solo to me. It was by Rob Doherty from Into Eternity, who's no longer with us. He passed away last year, so I'm really happy to have him on there recording. He's at the 5-minute mark. After that is John Rusin, who now is in the reincarnated version of Carfax Abbey. And then I am up at 6 minutes. And then after that is Riggs from Scum of the Earth and Rob Zombie's band, 6:20. Tim Roth comes back on at 6:41, and then after that's Mark Simpson from Flotsam and Jetsam and Beautiful Creatures. And then at 7:28, originally was Jack Frost. We replaced Jack Frost for this version with Nigel Hodge from Power Theory. So he's at the 7:28 mark. After him is Carlos Alvarez from Shadow Dance, a dear friend and a former member of Single Bullet Theory. And then John Rusin does kind of the melody and background solos at the 8-minute mark. And then closing out the solos is Pete Black from King Diamond and Disaster Piece. So I want to thank everybody who contributed themselves to this. On drums is Acasio Carvalho. And then Carlos Alvarez did a lot of editing and production and stuff on this version. And then I mixed and mastered it, and John Rusin did a lot of the recording in the original version. So it's a combination of like a lot of fucking hard work.
No, I mean, for it being like a solo, guitar solo song, it actually flows really nicely. It's very listenable, and it came out great. I mean, you can definitely listen to it over and over again. And not get bored with it.
No, and if you're a guitar guy, I mean, this song is, this song could be on the Bet You Can't Play This video series. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Well, that.
Yeah, it's
that
this
too.
insane parts in this song. I mean, everybody just completely destroyed this. It was craziness, So, long story short, this is Auctioneer of Souls. You guys have the credits for it now, and I don't think I missed anything or left anybody out.
Nope, you got them all.
No, all right, cool. And so, Bill, this song featured, like I said, Acasio Carvalho on drums. The current Single Bullet Theory bass player, Jeff Caliber, played all the bass. I tracked all the rhythms, and I mixed and mastered it. All right, Billy, it's the infamous Spirit Crusher cover. Infamous Spirit Crusher cover.
Spirit Crusher. This is the Death cover. It was supposed to be going on a Death tribute album
Years
that
and years
James
ago.
Murphy was going to produce. He got a lot of bands to contribute to this, and I don't know exactly what happened to all that material.
I don't know the details. I know that when we had recorded it, I know that he had like the singer of Chimera was on deck to do stuff, and one of the guys from Possessed, and there was a lot of guys that were listed. At least he told me they were listed to be on it, and Matt Thompson. The music to this was recorded. Well, the drums to this were recorded when Matt Thompson came up from Texas to record our Behind Us a Hatred album.
Yep.
Same sessions. And then you had tracked bass to it then, too.
Mm-hmm.
And Murphy took the files down to Florida to do whatever he was going to do with them. I tracked the original vocals, and I think he was going to have, I forget who would play guitar on it. And then I don't know what happened exactly, but it never came out. It never saw light of day. So when we put together Single Bullet Theory again in 2010 with John Rusin, I came across the files, but I only had the drum tracks. And I said, well, I called Matt Thompson first and said, hey, would you be cool if I used your drum tracks still? And he was like, holy shit, I forgot I even did that. Like, you forgot about that song.
Yeah, it had been a long time.
Yeah, it had been like 6.5, 7 years almost. and he said, sure, go ahead and use my tracks. That's fine. So we went ahead and Dan Lockery played all the guitar on it. I didn't play guitar on it at all except the lead, and then Rusin did a lead. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Dan did all the rhythms on this. When we redid it, Dan learned it and did the rhythms. I tracked the bass real quick, and then we tracked the vocals at Rusin's, and then Rusin did an original mix of this, which was a bonus track on our 4 album. But something happened in the manufacturing process where, for whatever reason, this song had like a really weird, when it had like a woof to it when, right here actually.
There was a couple parts that really
it
sounded like
weird.
the speakers blew.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened, but it wasn't on the original masters we had. I don't know what happened when they manufactured or what, if they tried to remaster it. But it's fixed now. And so this is Spirit Crusher. Spirit Crusher finally is properly seeing light of day, I think. And again, drums were tracked at Jason's Dunkerley studio when it was called Angry Chair Still, by Matt Thompson. And Dan Lockery tracked the guitars at Rusin's studio. And then Rusin did this solo. And I did the following solo, and then I did the vocals at Rusin's here. Yeah, I didn't track the vocals here. I did the vocals at Rusin's. So that's it. That's Spirit Crusher, the Death cover. Great song. It's one of my favorite Death songs ever, and I'm glad it's finally coming out.
I love it.
Yeah, and Thompson's drums on this are fucking retarded.
He did a great job.
Dude, he's such
He
a
was so
beast.
proud of himself when he did it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's a difficult song, you know.
He pushed himself.
I remember the middle part. We said it sounded like popping popcorn. It was just so random. Everything's crazy, you know. But yeah, it's a cool song, and it's a nice ode to Chuck Schuldiner, and you know, a huge influence on on our whole genre of metal. So it's cool to say, hey, you know,
Everybody can agree on that.
yeah, I think so. I think everyone knows that he's the man, or was the man, you know. So this is Spirit Crusher. Hope you guys like this one. Alrighty, Diabolical. This is the this is like the coup de grace of Single Bullet Theory. This is a beast of a song.
One of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah, this was recorded originally on our 4 record. Acacio Carvalho again is on drums, and Jeff Caliber is playing bass, and I tracked all the guitars on this except the solo and the bridge arpeggios were Rusin on the original version. This is probably the most vicious Single Bullet Theory song that had been written at that point, you know. I mean, it still kind of is one of the most bludgeoning fucking tracks we ever wrote.
And even live, I mean, it just comes out so strong live too.
Yeah, this is like what, you know, when you want to hand out an ass kicking, we just drop this into the set, you know. But we shot a video for Diabolical that my wife was in, and my wife was the victim, and Matt Haynes, my business partner, was the killer.
Yeah.
And my fucking house was in it, and my Suburban was in it, and Jamie's car was in it, and yeah, it was like, you know, we shot the video ourselves.
That's
and
a great video.
Yeah, it came out good. It was a nightmare, and Matt was sick as a dog when we did it. And I remember the end scene when he comes at Jamie with the knife. I filmed the scene, so like he had a real fucking knife because all the weapons that we had in the video are all real weapons. So like they're all fucking these things that could easily like kill you accidentally, you know. And I remember he was drunk as shit because we've been giving him firewood for about 2 hours to kill his sore throat. And he kept coming at me with a knife, and I'm like, oh my god, one of these times he's gonna fucking slip and slice my head off, you know? But yeah, it was cool. I mean, this was you know, when we play this song live, I get all fired up, you know, I get charged up. It's like riding in a battle, this fucking song, you know?
It's just well written. I mean, it's strong. It's one of the best Single Bullet Theory songs that was ever done.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
Right.
Yeah, you weren't part of it.
Right. I wasn't.
Maybe
but, you know,
that's why it's good.
Give props when it's deserved, right?
Yeah, so the original tracks, like I said, Rusin did a lot of work on this. We recorded the drums to this at a studio, I think it was called Clay Creek Recording in Delaware. And then John Rusin was the engineer for everything else we had done. And I tracked the vocals at my house. And then on this version, we replaced John Rusin's solo with Harry. Harry Lannon is the lead in the middle of it. And we left everything else the same pretty much, except I took out some extra vocals that didn't need to be there and remixed it. So this is the remix. I think the drums sound a little better, and it's a little more punchy, this mix. You know, it comes off a little clearer. But, you know, the 4 record had a kind of production of its kind of its own, you know. Rusin had never done metal before, and which he did a fine job, but it has its own kind of like unique sound, you know. And I wanted to have like more of like a more modern kind of sound that you know is more kind of like in today's modern metal culture. So it's been remixed, and I mean, what do you think?
Well, one of my memories of this song is when you got the new lineup together and played the first show. And I was at the show with Dan Lowry, and you know, you played the song, and we looked at each other and we're like, wow. I mean, it was just insane how strong it was. And we're like, dude, this is what we should have been.
Yeah,
you know?
That would have been nice. But you know, like we said at the beginning of this, there was a lot of growing with this band, and the band's still growing. Like the new record that's coming out, which I'll talk about for a second here, you know, is called Divine Ways of Chaos, and that's a whole new sound for the band. I mean, you know, that's a lot of growth that even grew more from this kind of, like if I hadn't written this song, you know, I don't think we would even sound anywhere near like we do now with the new album. I mean, I think it was monumental. This whole record, the 4 record that happened in 2011, is I think it's a great record. I mean, it's got its faults and it's got some problems with it, but I mean, ultimately speaking, I think it's a really good album, and I think that it's been a natural progression with each album, you know. Divine Ways of Cass is going to blow people's minds when they fucking hear it. So.
Yeah, Matt's let me listen to the record as it is now, and I'm telling you, man, you're going to be impressed.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're really picky, and if that's the case, go fuck yourself. Just kidding, people. So that's Diabolical, and that's basically all the songs on this little compilation album. So,
Yep, little quick history.
yeah, it's nice having Billy here talking about this stuff. Yeah. And ironically, tonight was the rehearsal, our first rehearsal as a full band with you helping out on bass.
Yeah, I got to
And-
fill in for a show.
Yeah, you're gonna do it one show to fill in for Jeff when he's got something else to do, and we haven't rehearsed together since 2008. Yeah. Alrighty, this is Leviathan Smiles, which was originally tracked for our 4 album, which came out on Goomba Records, and John Rusin, the man, the myth, the legend, went ahead and reprogrammed everything and took out all the real drums and kind of made it similar to his former band, Carfax Abbey. So we have kind of like this techno kind of goth remix of Leviathan Smiles, which at the time I was blown away by. I was surprised to hear any of our stuff like this. And I wasn't complaining, but it was a neat little thing to have. It was actually on the 4 record, but it was a hidden track. So unless you have the 4 album and scrolled past Echoes of the Past, you would never know it existed. But Leviathan Smiles was killer, and here it is. So you guys finally get to hear this strange kind of Fear Factory-ish thing. So here we are.